You feel like you're changing, but you don't quite know what you're changing into. It's like something inside of you shifting quietly but unmistakably. The old ways of being, how you coped, how you related, how you understood yourself, they don't work anymore. They feel tight, outdated, or somehow too small. And yet the new ways of being, they haven't fully formed yet. There isn't a clear direction or identity or vision to step into. It's like standing in a doorway with one foot in life that doesn't fit anymore and one foot in the future you can't see yet. The space can feel disorienting. You may feel more sensitive than usual, or more tired, more emotional, more numb. You might have a sense that something is ending, but you can't articulate what, or that something is beginning, but you can't name it yet. You may even feel like parts of you are falling away, dissolving, or becoming less real. This stage can feel like losing yourself, but what's actually happening is that you're losing the version of yourself that was built to survive, not the version that was meant to live. No one teaches us how to navigate this phase. We are taught how to start things and how to finish things, but not how to stay present in the middle, where nothing is solid yet, where identity is loosening and reforming. And because it's unfamiliar, we often think something is wrong. We try to force clarity. We try to make decisions. We try to cling to the old or rush into the new, but this stage isn't asking you to do something, it's asking you to feel something. To feel the space between you, where you once were, and who you are becoming. That liminal space, right? In the between. Not a void, it's a passage, a threshold, or a quiet doorway into a truer version of you. This is where transformation actually begins. Now let's talk about what the phase actually is. Because this isn't just confusion, right? And it's not just being emotionally overwhelmed. It's not depression, and it's not the lack of direction. It's a liminal state, a natural but necessary stage in transformation where the nervous system, identity, and emotional memory are all reorganizing at once. A liminal state is what happens when your old self has already begun to dissolve, but your new self hasn't stabilized yet. So you're not who you were anymore, but you're not yet who you are going to become. You're in the middle, that threshold, right? The crossing point. So during this time, the nervous system is learning a new baseline. Your old identity was wired into your body, your posture, your tone, your reactions, the way you protected yourself, the way you reached for connection or pulled away from it. Identity isn't just psychological, it's physiological. So when identity shifts, the body has to rewire itself, which means your system is doing a lot of work in the background. This is why you may feel tired. This is why you may need more rest. And this is why you may not have the same motivation, clarity, or momentum. Your body isn't shutting down, it's recalibrating. At the same time, emotional memory begins to surface. So not necessarily as memories or thoughts, but as sensations. A heaviness in the chest, a tightness in the throat, a flutter in the stomach, a sudden wave of emotion that doesn't match the moment you're in. This isn't the past coming to haunt you. This is the past leaving your system. What you once had to suppress in order to keep going, your body now finally has enough safety to feel. And then there's the identity restructuring itself. This is the part that makes things feel fucky, because your sense of self is loosening. You're letting go of old rules, patterns, personas, and narratives that once defined you. And that mind hasn't caught up yet. So it doesn't know how to label you. And that's why you feel not like yourself. Because the yourself you're referring to is the one that is dissolving. None of this is a mistake. None of this means you're lost. And none of this means you're doing something wrong. This is what growth feels like on the inside. Not clarity, not confidence, not excitement, but reorganization. A gentle unwinding of what's no longer true so that something new can take its place. The liminal state is not an interruption in your life. It is a passageway that leads you back to yourself. So is this a natural stage of transformation? Why does it feel so uncomfortable? Because nothing in your conditioning prepared you for it. Most of what we were raised in environments, familial, cultural, educational, they valued certainty, clarity, and productivity. Your identity, stability, and emotional predictability. We were taught to know who we are, to stay consistent, to have it together, to keep moving, producing, and performing. But in the liminal space, all of that falls away. You can't rely on the familiar strategies anymore. You can't rely on the old roles or old narratives. You can't rely on the sense of self you once used to navigate your life. And that creates sensations that the nervous system doesn't know how to categorize. Sensations that feel unfamiliar and therefore uncomfortable. So let's name some of these sensations directly, because when you can name something, you can stay with it instead of running from it. So disorientation. You may feel like you don't know where you're going or who you are, and it may feel like you're floating, suspended, or untethered. And this isn't because you lack direction, it's because your internal orientation system, the identity that used to tell you who you were, is being rewritten. The disorientation is not the sign you are lost, it's a sign that you're no longer navigating from old programming. Next, restlessness. You may feel like something inside you wants to move, shift, break, or expand. Like there's a pressure building inside you with nowhere to go. This is your energy reorganizing itself. It's your system clearing the emotional and somatic residue of the identity you are outgrowing. Restlessness is the body preparing to step into a larger capacity. Numbness or overstimulation. Now, some days you may feel emotionally flat, distant, or checked out. Other days you may feel like everything is too loud, too intense, too much. There's no contradictions. There are phases of the nervous system recalibrating on numbness in the system, conserving energy while reorganizing. Overstimulation is the system learning to tolerate more emotional aliveness. Both are transitions, neither are failures. Old patterns resurfacing. This is a big one. During the in-between patterns you thought you healed may show up again. Old fears, old emotional reactions, old coping habits, old relationship dynamics. This is not regression. This is your system giving you a final opportunity to meet the patterns with a new awareness. Think of it like when software is being replaced, the old version doesn't simply disappear. It runs one last time so the system can rewrite it consciously. The resurfacing of old patterns is not a returning to who you were. It's the last step in outgrowing who you were. It's the moment of integration. But here's the part that feels the hardest. We naturally mistake discomfort for something is wrong, right? We assume confusion means we're off track, and we assume numbness means we're shutting down. We assume restlessness means we're failing to stay grounded, and we assume old patterns returning mean we haven't grown out of them. And none of that is true. The discomfort you're feeling is the very sensation of transformation happening. The system is rewiring, the emotional body is releasing, the mind is loosening, the heart is resurfacing, the identity is expanding. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. And if you can remember that, if you can choose to stay with yourself in the discomfort instead of trying to escape it, become comfortable with the uncomfortable, then this phase becomes not something to endure, but something to pass through consciously. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the doorway. So the natural question is, how do you move through this stage without collapsing into fear, rushing to rebuild, or abandoning yourself in the process? The answer isn't dramatic. It's about forcing breakthroughs or seeking clarity. It isn't about figuring it out or trying to speed up the process. It's about learning how to stay with yourself while you don't know. And that's a skill most of us were never taught. So I want to offer you a very simple, very human practice for this phase. Practices that don't require anything but your attention and your willingness to be here. So 1, take one breath longer before you react. When old patterns resurface, the instinct is to respond immediately, to react, to defend, to withdraw, to explain or to fix or even to decide. But reaction is the language of the self. It operates at the speed of survival. Slowing down interrupts that pattern. One breath, not 10. Not meditation, not a ritual, just One intentional breath before your next action. Inhale and let your body exhale without force. That small pause tells your nervous system something it rarely hears. We are not in danger. When the body believes it's safe, the new identity has room to emerge. Number 2, feel the sensation instead of analyzing the story. When emotions surface in this stage, the mind will try to make meaning out of them. Why am I feeling this? What does this mean? Am I doing something wrong? Is this a sign? But emotions are not instructions. They are weather, energy moving through. Try instead, when an emotion comes, locate it in the body. Where is it? In the chest, in the throat, in the belly, the jaw, the shoulders? And then describe that sensation without labeling it emotionally. Tight, warm, buzzing, heavy, collapsed inward. Just noticing the sensation breaks your identification with the story. Feeling it is what allows the emotion to complete its cycle. Analysis is what keeps it stuck. So remember that. 3, small daily check-ins with the body. Identity shifts are not mental, they're somatic. Your body is the one doing the rewiring. So ask your body once or twice a day, what are you experiencing right now? Not how do I fix this or how do I get rid of this, just presence. The body softens when it's the witness. Presence is the medicine. 4, name the character you're outgrowing. There is a version of you that learned to survive the world through certain patterns. That version of you protected you, they adapted, they got you here, but now you've outgrown them. Try giving that version a name. Not to mock it or dismiss it, but to honor them. It could be the one who over-explains, the one who holds everything together, the one who never asks for help, the one that doesn't need anything, the one who leaves first, the one who makes everything feel safe except for themselves. Naming the character allows you to see the pattern without becoming the pattern. And then when the reaction arises, you can say, oh, that's them. That's the old version. They're trying to keep me safe. This transformed the relationship from judgment to compassion. Compassion softens the identity. Softness makes the space for the new. 5, keep the pace slow on purpose. The in-between is not a stage you can rush. If you try to force clarity, the old identity just reassembles itself. If you try to jump ahead, you recreate versions of yourself that were built out of fear. Slowness is not stagnation, slowness is integration. The work here is not to work harder, it's to allow room for the new identity to come online gently. To trust that something is forming below the surface, even if you can't name it yet, because it is. You don't need to become the next version of yourself, you need only to stay with yourself while they emerge. So, if you are in this stage right now, if you feel like you are unraveling a little or softening in ways you can't explain, or watching old layers fall away faster than new ones arrive, I want you to know you are not lost, you are becoming. The in-between is not a mistake, it is not a pause in your life, it is not a failure to move forward, it's not a sign that something has gone wrong, it is a place where the old self loosens the grip, so that the real self can return. It is the moment that the soil is turned before anything new can take root. It is the breath between exhale and inhale, the quiet suspended moment where the entire body resets itself. You are in that, and it's a sacred, even if it's still messy, even if it feels slow, even if it feels confusing or tender or uncertain, every part of this is intelligence. Your system is not working against you. It is reorienting you toward a truer life. The in-between is not a void. It is a doorway, a threshold, a passage. And there's nothing you need to do to fix this part. No clarity you need to force, no version of yourself you need to hurry into. Just stay close to yourself here. Stay gentle, stay curious, stay breathing. Because who you are becoming is already on the way. Not through effort, but through presence. It is not the end of who you were. It is the beginning of who you always were. Finally being allowed to come forward. You're not lost, you are arriving.